of height, and the dreams that you dream of once in
Welcome, Aries, to my temple, to the Temple of Tarot, Astrology, and Yoga, where we try to combine the three arts of self-understanding, understanding of our universe, and the understanding of our physicality, our body, and to put them together to give you a guide for the month of October 2025. So this will be an Astro Tarot forecast relevant to you if your sun sign, your moon sign, or your rising sign is Aries. I follow the transits of two planets, Mars and Venus, which gives us a sort of yin-yang perspective on the goings-on in the month, and focuses our understanding on the parameter of that time span. This month, Aries, we have Venus in Virgo and Mars transiting Libra, which are your 6th and 7th house. The 6th house concerns your health, your physical, mental, psychological health. And it also concerns what you do, where you put your labor, what you're funneling or directing your physical energy into, be that work or a project or something to do with your health, putting loving energy, because Venus is in Virgo, and Virgo is your 6th house, remember. So it's putting love, attention, even money towards your health, spending money to create a more beautiful you, let's just say that. Maybe finding those who are very helpful and cooperative and are on your side when it comes to whatever health program or regime that you're experiencing. So this is where Venus is spending her time, giving you cooperative energy in the realm of your health and in what you labor at. So laboring at something that gives you pleasure, doing some work that is heart and soul satisfying. Now Mars is transiting Libra, your 7th house of relationships. So you're putting a great deal of energy in your primary, most important, relationships. And this is to solidify your current partnerships, relationships, or to direct your efforts towards the establishment of perhaps a new relationship, or the growing of relationships. But there's certainly room for the idea of some disagreement or conflict arising within these relationships, or one or more of these relationships, because Mars can be very aggressive, very bold, very demanding, very resolute. Pardon me. And so therefore it might lead to conflict. Doesn't necessarily need to, but there's so much impulsive energy being directed towards your primary relationships that sometimes it can be overdone. And you might be too enthusiastic. Too Aries are that way anyway. They're impulsive. They're sort of act and think about it later, you know. So just a heads up, just to alert you that there is the potential for conflict if there's too much aggression, or if you're being too enthusiastic about some aspect of your relationships. But if you utilize this energy, what can instead be the outcome is that you strengthen the bonds of those relationships that you want, and perhaps you release those relationships that you don't want. So, with all that said, let's move on now to your tarot forecast. And thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate it. Namaste. So welcome, Aries, to your tarot forecast. And I'm just thinking about the astrology forecast for you. And it occurs to me that it is probably going to be through your some primary relationship, new or old, that may help you to gain greater good health. There's a pursuit of health because of Venus in this house, self-love. And perhaps you'll find, or you're going to put your energy into relationships that will aid you in discovering ways to increase your health and well-being that isn't that does not violate your body. Venus is a symbol of pleasure. So there may be even something pleasurable about your pursuit of health. So I needed to say that. So this is if you've never been here before, this is a very simple spread involving only 4 positions. Keeping it simple, it allows me to investigate the symbols, and consequently, I believe, will help you if you're learning how to read the tarot for yourself. All right, let's begin. I'm going to put in front of you 2 reversals. The cards have been previously shuffled, but I didn't put in any reversals, so they were all upright. Consequently, if in a 4-card spread you get a reversal, then it has real significance. So I'm going to shuffle a little more in front of the camera, and I wish you all the best in pursuit of health and well-being, and in work that you enjoy, doing work that you enjoy. So let's begin. You take your left hand and you make two other piles, and you reassemble them into a single pile, and you're ready for the reading. The first card will represent the overall energy or mood of the month, the theme of the month. All right. What do we have here? We have a Cups card. And this gentleman dressed in red, that clothing is indicative of a traveler. So he has his travel coat on. He's moving away from what he knows and experienced emotionally. Each one of those cups represents an emotional episode in his life. And he's walking away from those cups, those experiences, those events, those very carefully assembled reality that he's built over time. This is the Eight of Cups. That he's invested emotionally into. But for some reason, he's decided to walk away from that and to go on a new adventure. Those cups can represent anything that has an emotional value to you. A relationship, a career, a home, a family. For some reason, this gentleman has decided to go on an adventure which mandates that he, at least whether permanently or temporarily, walk away from what he knows, what gives him emotional security, emotional identity, seeking for something, either something better or something different or something that stimulates, will not be as predictable as what's behind it. All right. The next position is the position that describes the challenge that will be presented in the month. What are your challenges? Oh, I see. The Tower. The Tower is about flaws in the structure that you've created. And a bolt of lightning comes out of the sky and topples the crown of achievement, authority, and victory. Because this tower was built on a faulty idea or with faulty material. And so that bolt of lightning can represent an idea, a concept, an event that disrupts the tower, the structure that has been created, because it had internal weaknesses. It could not have held in a storm. And so there's a fire now that we can see occurring at the top of the tower. And everyone is jumping out to save themselves. So something is about to collapse. Whether this is again some structure, be that an emotional structure through a relationship, or the structure of having to do with your work, your career, or some thing that you put together that has its internal flaws. It's your challenge. When the tower is your challenge, all it's saying is that you need to address the flaws in the structure and let this fall if there's nothing substantial holding it up. Let the ensuing perhaps chaos or disruption not unnerve you, but to address the problems inherent in the structure, to fix it, or to abandon the project, to abandon whatever this represents, and start anew. It's up to you. But it's dramatic. And it's very apropos of this gentleman's taking up a new journey and walking away from what he had structured on a more emotional level, whether again temporarily or permanently. In the position of what's unexpected is this. So we have the 9 of Swords. And what do we see? We see a person who is in bed, but with his hands covering his face and his face bowed down. The implication is that he's just had a nightmare and he's woken up and he's worried. And those 9 swords represent the number of worries that he has. And what's symbolically implied by having these swords actually sort of arrayed like a painting beside him is that these worries are mind-made. They do not in any way inflict any wounds physically into him. He is simply going over in his mind one problem after the next problem, after the next problem, after the next problem, ad infinitum, keeping him from sleeping. So it's about being able to control your thoughts, where your thoughts are going. Again, this may be in the pursuit of your health, your work, or a relationship, according to the astrological forecast. This does not mean that any of these issues have merit. They may not. It's simply that you're disturbed by them. Your equilibrium Your peace of mind is being disturbed by worry. Worry really never does solve anything. It alerts you to a problem, but imagining the worst possible outcome of a situation is not productive in bringing the best possible solution to a problem. And so you need to be rational, to be clear-headed, and not to let the weight of your worries interfere with your ability to see clearly the solution to the problem. Let's see how it all ends. Aries. It's a serious month. It is a serious month. Swords again. Look here. The Seven of Swords is the outcome. This is a very interesting card. Again, it's about the mind. Swords. Here we have let's just call him a spy, who has infiltrated enemy camp. And he is absconding with, carrying, stealing some of their weapons. He's left two behind, so they can still defend themselves. But what's going on here is he's sneaking away. This is a card representing action, mind action, that is below the radar, having to act and think below the radar so that you're undetected. Acting behind the scenes so that you, what's the word? Take away your enemy's strength and power to use these weapons against you. So it's a game of mental combat almost, where you outwit your foe, those who are not for you. And again, with this being purely symbolic, this is done with ideas. Maybe you have to infiltrate into territory that you may not be welcome in, or perhaps you're just unfamiliar with, to gain intellectual knowledge that helps you to accomplish your aims, to protect yourself, to win the battle. A very interesting set of circumstances here. And I'm saying a very serious month in which a certain amount of caginess, cleverness is necessary, as well as overcoming your own self-doubt, self-recrimination, self just simple worry about yourself and your perhaps your health or your work or your relationship. Again, worry is unproductive. But if you find yourself sinking into a hole, a dark pit of worry, remember that it's mind-made and that it can change if you change your mind, if you change what you think of and how you think of it. But there is a very dramatic departure from what is known. And this takes courage and a sense of adventure to discover something new and to apply the energy of love to self-healing and to heal those relationships or situations that are internally weak and to bring them into a state of strength and to restructure something so that it will never fail. That is what's implied for the month of October. It's hard to fathom how quickly this year is gone by. But thank you very much. And so next will be your magical pass, and I will either attach it to this forecast or I'll give it to you separately in a separate post. So thank you very much for joining me. And may this October be one in which you gain enormous self-confidence and self-strength. And great. Welcome, Aries, to your magical pass for October 2025. I have already actually given this pass to another sign, but I thought that it was so appropriate for you that I would repeat it. And that is, the pass is called Pushing Down a Wall of Energy. And with the Tower, this is what we are attempting to do, is to push down this wall of energy that was built on faulty ground. Something about it allowed the structure to be upset by incoming. That bolt of lightning represents information or ideas or just a situation, a circumstance that comes in suddenly and tests the structure, the foundation of this structure. So pushing down a wall of energy is allowing that structure to come down, to let go, and to express the energy of dissolution, to dissolve something in order to recreate it. So pushing down a wall of energy is what this is called. And let me show it to you. It's very simple. We bend the knees and we lean just slightly forward at the hip socket, and we bend the elbows out like this. So we're going to shift our weight over onto the right side of the body. We're going to lift the foot and we're going to press it out like that, sort of as if you're pushing against a solid barrier in front of you. So let's just practice that. That would be our left side. So when we push out, you can also lean back and bring the arms just slightly behind you to counterbalance. We're going to go from left to right to left, then from right to left to right. We begin. Press. Reposition. Shift. 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 Press. And that is the symbol is very important here. This is the symbol of pushing this wall of energy away from you and letting it dissolve so that there are no barriers, no obstructions to you getting to your goal. Thank you very much for joining me. All my love. See you next month.